Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to an introduction video on how to register for this spring term. So first, what you're going to want to do is to sign into Gonzaga University's ZAGWEB, and you can do that by using your ID number and PIN, which you should have already set up. Once you get here, you will be at this main menu, as you can see where I am here now. What you can do is just simply click on Student Services and Financial Aid. And what that'll do is then it'll pop up a menu where you can click on Registration right here. And what that'll do is it'll get you to the page for everything you need for registration. So you don't need to stress anymore. First thing you're going to want to do is to make sure that you are clear and ready to register. So to do this, you just go down to check your registration status. And what that'll do is it'll pop up a window where it'll demonstrate all the different sort of holds, or if you need to meet with your advisor, and it'll also show you when you need to register on that date. Now remember, when you register, you want to make sure that you're 5 minutes early to the day before. So as you can see, I'm ready to register on a Friday. So what I would do is a Thursday at 11:55 p.m. I would get set up, get everything ready, because I'm going to register Friday at 12:02 a.m. So once you have made sure that you have all these checks and you are ready to be cleared, you can feel free to head back to the registration tab. And from there, we can look up how to sort of different classes you're going to need to add. Now, in order to know what sort of classes you need to add, you can simply go onto the university website and figure out what sort of core courses you need, and you can also feel free to look at your major and also figure out what specific requirements you're going to need. So, once you have figured out what those courses are, you can feel free to select the term. For this one, we'll be doing Spring 2017. Whichever term that next one is, you can feel free to do. Then from there, you can feel free to click on any one of these different items, and it's going to be specified for each. So when you look at those classes you add, for instance, for the business, it'll have a certain code which you can feel free to look up. So once you click on that specific one, you can see that there's different course numbers, and from there, you can feel free to click on the specific sections. Once you see all these specific sections, you can look at the days and the times that they're available, and also you can see the capacity, you can see how many people have already signed up, and you can see how many spots are still remaining. From there, I would suggest that you make a schedule. For example, we made one here on Excel. So you can see this is our business computing class, and from there we have been able to figure out a time that makes sure it works for everything. When you register, you need to make sure that none of the classes collide. So as you can see here, this class ends at 8:50 a.m. and then the next class starts at 9 a.m. You want to make sure that you have at least a 10-minute gap between each one, or else it will not let you register. Once you've completely made your schedule, make sure that you have all the CRN numbers written down, because that's what you're going to use in order to actually sign up and register for those classes. In ZAGWEB, these CRN numbers are just right along here in this column. Now that we know what classes we're going to add, we can feel free to get ready to actually register for those specific classes. So, once we get back to the regular registration menu, we can feel free to click on a specific tab once we get there. 1 second. You can just go to registration, including drop or add classes. What that'll do is it'll pop up a window that looks just like this. Now, this, even though it says you are not permitted to register at this time, remember we did check and we are clear. It's just simply not quite time to do so. So you just want to simply wait at this window until that 12:02 hits the clock, and then you can feel free to refresh the page, and what will happen is it'll pop up a window similar to this, except without all these classes added in. It'll simply have just this CRN number, and you can feel free to type them in here. So for instance, I could do that one class, add it in, and then I can feel free to type in the next one, and then go from there. Now, as you'll see, you can just hit submit changes, and what that'll do is then add in the next class. I have already registered for a couple of my classes, as you can see here, and once I've done that, I can feel free to have certain actions. So if for some reason one of the classes don't work, I can feel free to drop it using this down menu. But as you can see down here, I typed in a couple classes that seemed like they didn't quite work. So the problem is that it'll always have a status that'll show up here. Now to check to see what that status means in terms of your registration, because sometimes classes might not work out. For instance, they have another section that they might need, or there's a time conflict, or maybe you just typed in a wrong CRN number. So what you can always do is go to the registration website for Gonzaga, the Office of Registrar, and if you ever have any questions, these are the perfect people to ask. They are up in College Hall on the second floor, but you can just simply go to this website here, and it has all the different information you need, especially the error codes that we will be using. So you can feel free to pull this up and have it as a reference whenever you need to for when you're registering. In case you don't understand what the problem is, you can feel free to reference this. Now, going back to it, you can see that sometimes you might not get the class you need because it fills up too quickly. The simple way to do that is you can simply go to the registrar's office again, or you can simply print out this copy of the course authorization form. As you can see here, it has different specified values, so for instance your name, student ID number, the semester, the CRN in which you want to be written in, and then you're going to have to get signatures from the chair, but also from the specific professor provided. So, from there, you can feel free to sign into all those courses and be written in. But be careful, because sometimes a teacher might not let you get written into a class, but sometimes it might. You never know. You can always only ask. So once you have done that and you have figured out your complete schedule, you can feel free to head back to the registration tab, and from there you can feel free to look at the specific schedule that you'll have. And to do that, you just simply go back to the registration tab, you look at student schedule by day and time, and from there it'll be able to pop up a nice formatted calendar schedule of all the different classes you have. As you can see here, this is mine for this semester. So I hope this was a very helpful video for you to look at. If you have any questions, again, feel free to stop by the registrar's office, or you can feel free to ask an RA or an upperclassman as well. And thank you for watching.